Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this Let's Play of a not quite finished build of Final Fantasy Reconstructed, which is a ROM hack of Final Fantasy 1 for NES. We finished last time with a quick visit to the Temple of Fiends, where we saw there was a monster guarding some chests. I decided not to talk to that monster. Right now I'm exploring the castle a little bit. One thing I'm noticing, and I'm sure this has been noted by the programmers, is a little bit of a sound glitch when you open up a text box. I'll try not to talk over it if I trigger another one. I'm assuming... No, looks like I don't trigger anymore for now. Yeah, and there's Princess Sarah again. I'm assuming that part of the sound hiccup happens because they took out the sound effect of the window, the text window opening, which is actually quite a refreshing change in this hack. Not having the slow text window open with the and of course, having that sound effect in there does alter the music, but it's not as noticeable because the sound effect is there. So it sounds like maybe just taking out that sound effect does not restore the sound hiccup right there. It's not anything that's going to influence gameplay. It's not anything major to be worried about. It's just something that I know. So here the gray imps, or the grimps, are shadow imps. So there's another example of a longer string of text that can be used in a lot of these Final Fantasy 1 hacks. They found ways to store longer names for things. That's why we don't need Mad Pony. We can actually fit in Crazy Horse and have it capitalized more or less correctly. Of course, we don't have a space between Crazy and Horse, but I think that follows the the template of Final Fantasy 1. Here I'm taking a stab at the Crazy Horses, so I'm just seeing how much damage they take. I think the original ones have about 64 hit points. Yes, they had 64 hit points. I do have a copy of the vanilla version algorithms guide in front of me. Again, without a comprehensive guide to this version, I can't definitively speak on what kind of totals they are in this game, but I can compare them observationally to what I'm familiar with from the first vanilla version of the game. And I'm not an expert speedrun router or anything in this game. So now here's a ghoul. So the deadhead enemies, which I presumed were ghouls before, seems like we're not functioning as ghouls, because there we have the stun effect from the ghoul enemy. So certainly it's behaving like a ghoul from the first one. There's also zombie enemies that can appear in groups in here. So I'm not sure what the deadheads are. Black Widow, I think, is just the spider. And this spider sprite looks quite nice. I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but this is a nice-looking spider sprite again. Very, very low reward for fighting that battle, especially... well, I guess I'm not sure if the spiders can poison you. The arachnids, I know, can do that. So here we're talking to whatever this is. You do not belong here, and it triggers a battle with 2 gargoyles, which I believe is the trap square battle when you come back here with the Mystic Key. And the gargoyle sprites resemble the Gaki Marsra sprites from Final Fantasy V. They may have also been used in FF4. It's been a longer time since I played FF4, but knowing that Duke has a preference for FF4, I'm wondering if they appeared in that as well. But certainly, this sprite looks very much like a sprite from Final Fantasy V, which of course I very much appreciate. They're really hitting hard, but I'm actually able to get one of them even at my low level. We're going to just go all-out offense here and see how well we can do against these guys. And noticing that they don't have massive hit points, I'm guessing that the gargoyles were not buffed much. Okay, here's a level up. And you notice right there, Sulla gets a level up even though he's dead, so there is a change. For better or for worse, I guess we will see. Definitely a change, though, in that experience can still go to a dead character. Definitely a significant change. So what this means is that experience is not going to be uneven as the game goes on. You see I go into my menu there just to confirm, like, did Sulla really get a level up there? Yes, he did. And we have another sound hiccup there when I came out of the menu. So I had an iron staff, a better piece of armor, and some more money there, without having to come back with the Mystic Key. Now, I did not get, in the vanilla version, there is I think the Were sword, and maybe the giant sword. Some of the creature-type swords are in the treasure chests here on this side of the Temple of Fiends. Those were not here, so I already can tell that this is going to be a pretty significant change in the game, at least in terms of where items and equipment come in. So far, I haven't really seen any massively changed items, or any newly constructed items, but I can already tell that things are going to be in different places. I've seen a mention of the Mystic Key, so I'm guessing that we will run into one. Whether or not it's in the same place, I guess we will see. We did see a reference to Elfheim and the Mystic Key in one of the townsfolks earlier, so I'm assuming that it's going to be similar to the fetch sequence of the vanilla version, but I'm excited to find out. Another change here that astute viewers will notice is that Sulla, the dead black belt, is still in the second position there. It was not reordered. Also noticed that poisoned characters do not get reordered to the back. That's a significant change also, and I cannot speak for sure on it, but I'm guessing that besides functioning as... I'm checking that he still was in the correct position. I'm guessing that that's going to influence monster targeting, because they target based on your position. At least in the vanilla version, they target their attacks and spells based on your position, with half of the attacks going to the front character, 25% going to the second position character, and then 12.5% going to both the 3 and 4 slots. So I'm not sure how enemy retargeting works in this one, when you can have a dead character in a front slot like that. I don't know if characters 3 and 4 are just considered 2 and 3. That's possible. It's possible that the only change is just for convenience, so that I don't have to go into the order menu. Here I'm checking the stats between the short dagger and the iron staff. Pretty significantly better with the iron staff, and will be for a while here with the black mage. And the iron staff, I'm having trouble thinking of the 20 damage with the iron staff from the black mage is pretty good. The imps don't have much in the way of absorb or defense, but that black mage did almost as much as the black belt did. With 2 hits, one of them went critical. So it's nice that the black mage can have some offensive output without having to burn spell charges. And I'm saving money by not getting all of the spells, which is kind of a common strategy. The bridge graphic is a little bit different, and also the harbor dock graphics are slightly different. I'm sure it's just an aesthetic change. It doesn't really change the function of anything, as far as I know. And one thing that you have to get used to when you're playing Final Fantasy I, either vanilla version or in one of the hacks, is the slow pace of battles. You just have to be very deliberate with your choices, and you have to continually watch. You can't just hold down that A button or just mash the A button straight through battles. You have to really be paying attention. So again, not any big changes to the world map that I can see. They still have that kind of fork-shaped river system in front of Matoya's cave. We have the automatic run on the chance to strike first. I haven't seen a change in that. And so here in Matoya's cave already, the brooms, yes, the brooms have been replaced by Moogles, although the Moogles say the same dialogue that the brooms do. They say push B, select backwards, and then the character asks, a magic spell, question mark? which is see, you can hear as I open up the dialogue boxes. Listen for the music. It seems like it makes yeah. It seems like it makes whichever the voice in the middle of the three channels that are playing the main part of the music. It sounds like it has the middle voice suspend the pitch that the middle voice is on, if that makes sense. If these parts were you know, soprano, alto, and tenor, it sounds like the alto voice is suspending its note, which causes some dissonance sometimes when those text boxes are open. And it's made me curious. I'd like to go back to the vanilla version and listen carefully to see if that same effect happens when it adds on the sound effect of the window opening, because the NES famously had limited sound channels, so sometimes when you had a sound effect, it would drop out one of the music channels to make way for the system to play the sound effect for you. I'm not sure if that's what's happening here because I'm not a programmer. I'm just pointing out what I can hear. And I'm almost always going to run from the Wolf-Grey Wolf combinations because, as I remember, they're just not very rewarding, and they are a pretty big drain. They all hit pretty hard, especially the Grey Wolves. So you can see we get a surprise round with 7 of them here. And the Wolves give you very little golden experience. And the Grey Wolves, as I remember, give you a disproportionate amount for how difficult they are, because they have, I think, 72 hit points. Let me confirm that. They have 72 hit points, and their experience reward is not all that great. And right there we saw the first instance of a different sound hiccup, and that's when another sound effect or music cue is playing as you come out of the menu. Either the save jingle, the save game jingle from using a tent or cabin, or in that case from using a healing item. If that is finishing playing as you come out of the menu into the world map, you notice the world map sound stops. So hearing more of that middle voice suspending the pitch that it's on. Pravoka, by the way, has some really, really interesting reworkings of its tile set. It is like a city of docks, which is a nice touch, and it has some graves, which I don't remember from the vanilla version, but I'm trying to see if I can remember if they were there. We have sight, invis, mute, so it's pretty standard there. I'm trying to remember what sight was called. But ice, dark, temper, slow. Now I'm assuming that temper has been fixed, so that's going to be a pickup for me soon. And I'm looking around Pravoka here, but you can see it's a city of docks. So the platforms are wooden boards going across, and I think that is what they were shooting for in the original vanilla game. But this version said the pirates came from the east, and I originally misread that. And I'm looking over here because normally Bicky is standing right up there, and you can just talk to him and initiate the fight right there. And I'm looking around the town for Bicky, so that's a locked door right there. The shops are in the same place they are, but Bicky is nowhere to be found, and I'm a little bit lost. This is where I run into the first big change. Because this Mohawk guy, and he's in the vanilla version, the Mohawk guy walking around up there, that is the just an ordinary well text, which is right from the vanilla version. And this is a grave. I can't remember if the vanilla text is this is a grave or this is a tomb. So I'm just looking around Pravoka lost here. The Moogle, yes, the Moogle replaces another character who does just say help with an exclamation point. So I'm back out on the world map, still wondering, what do I do? What do I do? Where do I go? This is the first hiccup I've hit. in gameplay. And I go to confirm with this guy, and I noticed on the second reading that he says they come from the east, not they came from the east. So that's my first clue, to look to the east, and lo and behold, there is a cave down there. And here we hit a battle with what I believe is a green ogre combination, which is a very lucrative fight. They give up a ton of gold and very good experience for this part of the game, but really gold is massive from ogres and green ogres. 195 gold, I think, from the ogre, and more than that from the green ogre, although they're ogre chief in this one. The color is consistent with the green ogre, which gives me that best guess that it's the green ogre. And this is an updated sprite from, I think, Final Fantasy 2 or 3, which looks more like an ogre, but we're missing the club. We're missing the clubs from the ogres in this one. So those beloved ogre clubs. And here I'm just trying to get some damage, and you can see the black belt just doesn't have enough base damage to get over high defense enemies. He's going to depend on critical hits, which in the vanilla version function kind of weird. And I don't know if that's been changed in this one, but they do an extra hit that ignores defense on top of one that does. It's very strange. And it makes them spread quite wide. Now here's a lizard, which there are lizard enemies over here that have a different name. They're not very threatening in the vanilla version. Of course, the sprite is different. This one has a chameleon look. Has the horns and the big red eyes. So this also has me wondering if the Agama enemies that we run into later are similar sprites to that one, the ones that we will see in the volcano. So here I'm just going back to the inn because it's worth saving the gains in gold and experience that I got from the ogre fight. That's all I'm doing there. And from the lizard. Here's a couple more creeps. So I'm going to stay out of that. Yes, and I'm looking at yes, the in the vanilla version the lizard goes by iguana. Like I said, I have the algorithms guide up in front of me as I'm running commentary, so I can check some of those things. And this is another nice battle, but I do decide to get out of this one just because I want to check out this pirate lair, and I decide I'll just come back and fight those guys later. So this is a whole new cave, or a whole new dungeon, and I'm curious from a hacking point of view where in the ROM this goes. You're not afraid of me, then I'm impressed. I think that comes from somewhere in vanilla, but I'm not entirely sure. But I'm not sure where in the game they found room for a whole other dungeon here, because we have an inn and a pub. Reference to the once prosperous civilization that's now in ruins. That could be, they're talking about Lefian. Now there's a longsword and a copper gauntlet. Those are both pretty advanced weapons. The longsword is going to be a big step up. So 20 and 24 with the rapier. And 31 and 29. So it's a big jump up in both. It's not quite enough to get the fighter 2 hits. So he's going to need a couple of more levels before he can get to 32 hit percent and get 2 hits. So he'll need some more levels, or he'll need a sharper weapon. So let's go over to the pub area. And she references the Northwest Castle. We'll see reference to that again. So another nice reward in gold. And listen for the music on here. So it didn't hiccup that time, so it only seems like maybe when there's a longer note playing on that middle voice. So here is Bicky. Surprised I am that you scurvy dogs and nerd to face me. Mates, get those landlubbers. That's all pretty standard. Fair. Now I did pick up the sleep spell, which these pirates are, in the vanilla version, they are susceptible to it. I decided to see about their hit points, and already I saw that the ice spell doing 23 and not killing that bottom right pirate, that tells me that these pirates have been buffed. Now, they have not been buffed to the point that they are in Final Fantasy ZZ, where they have status attack sleep, I believe, so that they are ganging up on your characters and putting your characters to sleep and doing good damage to them. So I know right away that these are no slouch pirates, so I'm going to go for the all-targeting sleep spell to slow down their attacks a little bit, knowing that an ice spell could not take one out in one hit. It's a little bit concerning. There's some cool animation there for the sleep spell. I believe that has been updated. But again, I'm not 100% sure on some of these observations, but it looks like the sleep spell animation has been updated, which is very cool. I like the spinny power of the sleep spell, so that's a very nice touch. And I'm deciding where to target my most damaging spell that I have right now, which is ice. And yeah, that ice animation, now that I'm thinking about it, that may also have been updated. So you can see the black belt's still underwhelming, but I know that he's going to pick up in a couple of more levels when he gets those to 4 hits. He's going to ramp up, and that's what black belts tend to do, is they start just desperately weak, and then they really start to fly. So 1 pirate left, everyone's alive, so we're in pretty good shape going into this fight. And the black mage could not quite take him out with the swing, but the white mage could with the hammer. So we're all good. Still 360 gold, which I believe is the same amount of money you get from the vanilla battle. I believe the only thing changed there, just from observation, is the hit points of the pirates. I didn't see any additional abilities from them, status attack or spells or anything, so they're okay. We did get the ship. The Bicky sprite has been changed. I'm not sure exactly why. That might be a reference to the pirates from Final Fantasy V, to the Friends of Ferris from FF5. And any reference to FF5 I'm happy about. But maybe just a little sad to see that the original unique Bicky sprite is gone. But if that's a nod to FF5, then I would totally forgive that. And there's the ship. So we'll fight through this iguana, and we will hop into the sea and find out what's happening out on the waves for us. So already we've seen a few differences in some of the items, where they are, names of things, some different, some buffed up bosses. So the pirates buffed up a little bit. I wasn't able to really note Garland's stats very well. So I'm not sure how much Garland was changed, if he was changed at all. But the pirates have been buffed, so that's something that I'll need to be kind of watching for and keeping an eye out on as we go on to part 3. We'll do some off-video grinding so I can pick up the gold that I'll need to do the shopping that we'll need to do before we head on to the Marsh Cave next time.